Well, it was a Haven that Figure8 wasn't confident enough picking up as their map pick, but maybe they should have been based off of that game. That was a clear turnaround going into this, Mimi. That was incredible. I cannot wait to see where this goes from there. That was already such a switch from yesterday, and even the first map we got to see today.
Yeah, I would say Figure8 performed pretty well on this map, seeing as they won and only lost like, I don't know, 3 rounds. That's not very many, in my personal opinion. I mean, honestly, this was super impressive out of them. Their flood retakes were on point. Their timings on swings with each other was impeccable. And I also felt they did a really good job of just punishing the super contacty style of Infinity. Every round they were kind of walking forward, taking these risks, taking their fights, and a lesser team, that will definitely catch them off guard because there are some strong ambers on that Infinity squad. But it was shut down really consistently by Figure8, and that was the catalyst for them getting this momentum to win dominantly, Wyatt.
Now, bear with me. What I'm about to say, pure speculation. Could I be spreading misinformation online? Yes.
Possibly. In fact, probably.
In fact, I definitely am. But I really do believe this is one of those games where when you get the rematch, the team that wins the map, they're not focused on the map that they won. They're thinking about the maps that they're losing. On the opposite side, you have Figure8. They lost Haven, they let it through, they made some adjustments, and I think that that was something you could see because of what you just said, Mimi. It was illustrated in their preparedness against the contact approach that Infinity were taking on a lot of the rounds. And then a couple of those rounds on defense, though we didn't see many, where we saw at the opening, Infinity were stacking 4 players on A. That is very unorthodox. That seems like something in, preparation. You're expecting something, right? And Figure8 were not doing whatever they were expecting. Those 4-person setups that they did a couple rounds in a row, they didn't meet a single Figure8 player over them. So that, to me, again, speculation, but I feel like it illustrates a team that they won Haven, so they didn't feel like they needed to prep too much, change too much, and they went in against a Figure8 that changed a lot.
I mean, the statistics so far are good. You're 1 for 1 on that. F8 lost Haven last time. They won it this time around. So maybe a little misinformation. But if that's how it's going to go down, then our next map of Bind should hopefully fare then really well for them. Because this is one, too, that they lost at a pretty close affair against Infinity last time around. This was the decider last time. This was the first time that they lost the entire series and they got sent to lowers. So this would be really fun to see if Mimi, Wyatt's, misinformation spreading is going to hold true there, and if this is going to be a completely reformed F8 that Infinity can't deal with.
I'm not as confident as in the last map that this is going to be a complete turnaround, that they will not have learned from the loss in the way that Figure8 did. Because this is one of the most played maps for Infinity. They played 5 games with this iteration of their roster. They played this Chamber Raise comp that I think you can tell when you're picking into a comp like that, the players are pretty confident in. And right now, they're on a 3-map win streak here. On the other side for Figure8, they've only played Bind in an official once. This isn't a map that they play a whole ton of. They're running this Sage Raise composition, which was really popular like last year in the meta, but I think has fallen out of favor a little bit more, but is still solid for getting the plant down, for getting these execs, and they did push the game really close. So my hope at least is that this is going to be a lot closer affair for the final map.
Which, considering how close this was last time around with 13-10 scoreline, I definitely hope that Infinity, after that last loss, because that was pretty one-sided over on Haven, that maybe there's a little blood in their eyes. Wyatt has something in his eyes over there.
He's really focused.
He's so focused on this game changing going ahead of us here, that's for sure. But,
is it unfrozen?
Hey, he's back.
He's back. So focused on changing the game.
He's like, I cannot miss a single second. There's elimination on the line. All right, well then if you're changing a game here, then for Figure8, they lost last time. They can't take this loss or they're out. The comp's a little outdated. Do we see any switch ups or is it just too fast of a turnaround in this regard?
Comp switch ups? I don't think they're necessarily going to happen. I mean, we didn't see them on Haven, I think, at all. It was just, I imagine, a stylistic mix up. So I'm going to expect the same thing to come into this map.
In the wise words of someone, I don't know, Obama. What's old is new. And the fact that a comp was meta and good at one point means that there's a reason, that there's merit behind it. You don't always have to be in the trend, be ahead of the curve, is the thing, right? Like, I think right now, especially, the meta's also kind of up in the air. Bind changes still not the most recent. It's still somewhat recent to see those changes coming into the mix in the last few months. You're still seeing teams experimenting around with a lot of different compositions, and I still like this Sage comp at times. So I really don't expect a change out of them, especially considering how rare it is to see them playing this map in an official.
That's fair, that's fair. And I'm intrigued too, because we're talking about the raise of this map. Where there's a raise, there's going to be a way here. And Zev last time was a little quiet over on Bind, so I'm excited too, because Zev, Wyatt, at some point today, like, the plays have been fantastic. They've been definitely having some really, really good shots. If this could be then a step up too, to where things could start to get dicey for Infinity, just because a duelist really gets to step up here. So I cannot wait to see where this is gonna go. Our agent select is ready. Let's get this map 3 started. Take it away, you two.
Okay, final map of this one. Wyatt, it is elimination on the line, and like we were talking about, no changes in these compositions we were expecting. It's Figure8 back to the Sage, and Infinity back to the Chamber for Car.
It was last time on Bind that Sadiel went crazy, 29 and 13 on the Brimstone. But frankly, right now, I'm looking towards Hezi, given that on that map, one was going crazy on the Raze. Was by far the best player in the servers. Zev started really stepping it up, on the Raze too. Hezi wasn't really able to get anything rolling on the Jet on map 2. Of course, not entirely in their hands. The team was struggling as a unit versus Figure8. But that being said, I'm looking at Hezi as my player to watch here for Infinity if they're going to bring this thing over the finish line. Both teams on the precipice of elimination, not making it to the round of 32. A worse placement than they did in Stage 2. Both of these teams making roster changes from Stage 2 into 3, trying to surpass that previous achievement of making it into the round of 32, and one of them, sadly, at the end of this game, going home before then.
The final map of this series, Infinity versus Figure8 here. Bind. Last time, it was 13 to 10. Infinity took it home. They're winning in the record here. They've beaten this squad twice before. But with a dominant 13-4 win on Haven, it's an opportunity to change things around for Figure8. They'll contact up into the showers. It's Sadiel's responsibility to hold onto the space, but she's not in a position to deny that orb or stop the wall from being placed out there.
That Sage wall super effective on defense. Really good at locking down either B long or that shower extremity where it is right now. You're gonna see these Infinity players wasting a hell of a lot of time just breaking this wall, and it's still not enough. They still have to break 2 more panels. Violet just jiggling that angle, a lot of delay, and information gathered too. They know 2 players are there. And Figure8 actually have the 4-player stack onto A right now. As a matter of fact, it's Korn just jiggle peeking around B, seeing if there's anyone walking up. There's not. These 4 players are gonna meet a brick wall Fort Knox defense on the A site.
Zev, the first brick in this building? They won't contest. Simply instead go through the teleporter. Leave. Go to the other side of the map. B site. That's open. Home free for them to take it through the teleporter. Goes 3. Only goes down 1. Fruit Cup not able to swivel around in time, but PZ Elm was in position to get that kill. So 4v4. Raze Roomba coming through Hookah. And another player teleporting in as well. Players spotted towards the spawn side, but they're actually wrapping around and walking back through spawn as Korn is pushing forward, but whiffing out on the shots against that player on the slant, and the whole team falling down. Only Violet left alive. A 1 versus 4, and this brim smoke of her own teammate now working against her. Maybe pushing a little bit too far on this flank, a bit too fractured in the retake. Position spotted. Car should be able to clean this one up quite soon. Sadiel, the one to do it instead. It's a round regardless for Infinity. Great way to bounce back after a rough map 2.
Let's ruin their day.
Great way to halt the momentum on the Figure8 side. Infinity things getting scrappy in that post plant. Very scrappy in the teleporter. This was very silly. The positioning in the post plant wasn't perfect by any means, but individuals able to capitalize, win the crucial duels. The first one from Ashley in that battle down halls to clear out the elbow player, as they had no elbow control. that was the one to really swing things in their favor.
Big pistol round to pick up there. One thing when you're playing against this Sage that I think is going to be really important to watch going forward, if Figure8 is going to keep using the wall in the way they did on the pistol, blocking off an extremity, using it to segment off space, is the fact that you have time. What's stronger than a mountain? A human? Anything? Time. Also a Sage wall. Also that. 40 seconds, you just wait, you chill out, you hold your default, that space is back, you don't have to waste anything. So if you can bait out that Sage wall really early on and either invest util to break it or just wait, you really can open up options and end up with an agent who's not going to have so much util to help you in the late round. That wall finding value is really where so much of Sage's potential comes from, that if you can deal with that, you can really put yourself in a great position. As we do see in the Santa Eco, it's going pretty much the way you'd expect. 3-2-1 at this point. Corn will try and do a bit more damage.
Another round, another 4-person defensive stack, but with those weak weapons, not going to entirely pay off. Some damage done. Maybe Corn clears this corner. No, the corner remains uncleared. Tragically for the Figure8 side, but they deal a fair amount of damage on the round. Not all hope is lost as they're going to buy up with the rifles here, facing off against many a Bulldog on that Infinity side.
At least 3 to speak of. In that one, Infinity. Let's see if we see some of that pace from map number 1. On Lotus, it was always these kind of slower defaults to start, wait out the utility, and then go for these fast pops, particularly towards B in the late round. That's where Hesse was thriving. They really slowed down in the second map off of that raise. But this, like you were mentioning, is a chance for that star player start to find their moment yet again, but it's not her stepping up. Instead, it's the raise on the other side. Combined with Violet, they completely shut down towards Showers on the off angle. And with the wall up to block, this space is easily in the control of Figure8.
Just straight up aim duels won out by the Figure8 players. Both of them with crosshairs, trained on that angle, both capitalizing. Really nice way to open the round. Sage wall as well to just deny the space after the fact. And it was Ashley who went down right away. Ashley, who was fantastic on Lotus for a lot of that map. The top fragging player on the side of Infinity. And since then, Haven struggling and really on not able to do a whole lot here. But of course, the map is young. Certainly time to turn it around and certainly doable for a player her caliber.
Never seen anyone as blind as Lila in this moment. Nor a round that has been as over as this one. Infinity really losing that round completely off that double contact play into Showers, which is mildly worrying to me, because right, that was their biggest issue on Haven as well, just walking into angles a bit haphazardly on their attack and losing players just like that last round.
I totally agree, and I'm looking to see if that's going to end up being a bit of a common thread here on attack. Infinity's attack on Lotus was sublime. The rotations were fantastic. They were using utility well to clear areas. Totally different approach for them on Haven. Did not work at all. Figure8 had them shut down from the get. I'm looking towards their style of play here on attack, because it's going to be an explosive shower take. The standard when you have the raise, the standard with the sky, that flash double satchel. They're going to claim that orb and claim this territory.
Another one of these walls used to contain Showers. Violet just chilling out on top of her brand new kingdom that she's found for herself. At least 2 players spotted with those bullets being spammed away. The raise is known to be here as well. So Infinity kind of at risk if they elect to commit, because it's another one of these 4-1 setups for FS.
We're going to see just exactly how Infinity opt to rotate around with this map control they've gained. Now, this is shades of Lotus. This is what we were hinting at before the round began, what I want to see. They take some of that early map control and are able to work off the back of it. They have Shower, keeping these rotations over towards A. You can see 4 players still stacked there. Something we've seen early on a few rounds from Figure8 now. Corn on their lonesome to fend off this B hit that seems to be oncoming with the nade into backside. You're going to see the scaling begin, perhaps. Things slowed down just a little bit, waiting for the smokes. Molly going to come in, and now these attacking players going to work their way in. Going to make something happen. Going to get the first. Nice little switch up of the positioning, and the swing in from their teammate can allow them to take another clean duel, not get traded on, not allow the attackers a nice timing and Corn, some fantastic anchoring, but really the key there is what a swift rotation from her teammates to get the support in.
But the reason it was allowed to be so swift was how much time Infinity took on that execute. They're throwing in Brim Smokes and a Raise Nade, waiting 5 seconds. And then they're not committing, really. They're just full triple contacting in. And that gives time not only for those rotators you were talking about, but also for Corn to just vibe on the site. She gets to isolate 2 duels, catches the player completely off guard, swinging from the default box. It again just looks a little haphazard from Infinity on these executes.
New defensive setup just dropped. We're going for the long aggression off the flash. Immediate duels from Figure8. They're going to claim 2. They get the advantage, and it's time to back off and play around that. No need to get any more aggressive. No need to throw anything away inadvertently.
Gun is down long. No one in a position to recover that, so a Vandal soon to be picked up here by the attackers. Car will claim that one. Do they want to commit to B, though? They know that Viper's Pit is down on the other side of the map, and El Clasico. Contact into the site. I've seen this movie before. Is it the same ending? Might be. Spike down on the floor. More to come. Contact around the corner. No one's watching Fruit Cup, and no one's getting a kill in this round. Figure8, another one.
Fruit Cup carrying over that fantastic play that we saw in Haven into this one. Queasium stepping up early on as well, and Infinity, they got a bit of early momentum. They got the pistol round. They, in theory, could have halted what we were seeing from the previous map, but that does not happen at all. Sadio, though, Brimstone ultimate coming into this round. Maybe effective on a fast site take here on A. It looks like that's something they want to go for. Maybe using that towards lamps, trying to use the Viper ult for post-plant. You could also use the Viper ult to try and creep out of shower. Looks like there's going to be an early shower fight, or at least an attempt to get this wall down yet again. Recover the orb. Exactly what happens. And there it is, the ultimate for lamps, as the satchel is going to come through. The high-flying Hezi from the top rope takes down Violet with the frog splash. Ashley going to get a second. We're into this 4-on-3. Queasy Elm potentially with the ult to deny this plant, but it doesn't look like they're in position to go for anything fast off of it, so they are going to opt to not do it. I like that decision. A lot of ultimates committed here.
The Viper's Pit not gonna walk off that spike whatsoever, so late round this could get a little bit funky if this Viper is isolated back towards the shower side. Mollies will be used early to keep the players not off the spike, but out of the pit to begin with. They're both being funneled towards triple. Corn, the point on this one. The Viper opposition on the other side. It's Lila caught in the open by Amali. Can't get through that one quite yet. Sadio on the angle. A little whiffy, but Corn does go down in the end. That spike still yet to be tapped, and the timer is working its way towards its natural conclusion. The 3v2 left. There's just no chance for Figure8 to get anything more but damage out of this round. It'll be a third. Infinity back into this one, tying us up.
At least on the side of Figure8, if you're looking for positives for them, they squeezed a lot of ults out of Infinity to claim that round win. So that is the upside, but Infinity, they did need that one desperately, and they got it. Their economy not going to be particularly bountiful off that one. They did lose quite a bit, but still, first rifle round that they've won in what feels like a long time if you factor in Haven as well.
It's been a while since we've seen him pick one of those up, so it's a big one to turn the momentum back into their favor. Lots of ults early in, though, here. It's actually going to be a Brim ult combined with a push down short. Isolated in the corner is the Viper of Lila. A cool little setup there to capitalize off their opponent's Viper wall and win out for an opening pick. The operator is the one to claim that second, and Zeb has already worked her way behind, pinching through the showers and isolating these duels. Card towards short, taken down by Zeb. She has more to contend with. She's ready for it. Spike dropped. Sadio alone. This round might already be over with a 1v4 in the face of the eel.
We haven't seen a whole lot of significance come from it, but Violet certainly with a penchant rather to play with the operator on some unorthodox opping agents. The KJ on the previous maps, the Sage here, though not entirely uncommon. We have seen the Sage op on this map in the past, the shades of CNED from back in the day. That is where I was taking it, and it can be pretty effective, but we've seen some serious value from the Sage op aside, utility on the forefront.
These walls have just gotten so much value seemingly every round they're put down, funneling players into exactly the position that Figure8 wants them. And that will be the end of this round, really. Corn's going hunting. Not in the right area, though, particularly. No one's home. Said it's just the Brim. Hunkered down in the close corner, waiting for the time to run out. But to look ahead towards the next round, what are you looking at for adaptations here for Infinity? Because right now, it seems like they are falling into some of those same pitfalls that we saw in Haven.
I do like how they're trying to take shower here aggressively. I would like to see them start working a little bit towards B as well. Of course, the problem with them is going to be dealing with this operator, and the key for me is they're going to have to get all the way away from this contacting kind of stuff that we've been seeing frequently out of them. That is just not something you can do against an op ever. So I'm really looking towards, you know, the Sky Ashley to have some significant flashes to push this Sage op effectively off the angles, and it's looking like he's going to pick up that B long angle right now.
Play? Let's play.
And we have seen greatness from Ashley. Map number 1, her Sky Util, was really a critical part of the success for her squad. Operator versus Tour de Force in long. And Carr won't be tested at this moment. Instead, Violet just posting on the angle. It's another one of these contact plays. They'll stand there in close. Who will break the contact? First, it's Carr. Violet's down, the Tour de Force effective, and well, the raise does drop. The rocket is there with Ashley combined. Trade things back. Site taken here for Infinity. They have to back away pretty far in this one. Do have the player advantage still, and lots of util to work within this post plan.
I like that hit, a different approach, exploding out of hookah, not something we've seen yet. The Figure8 players now trying to creep their way back into the site, not making a whole lot of noise. I mean, Random's fan, that's a great way to even the odds, make it 3-3 when you're just going to fire 3 bullets with a Vandal through a smoke and get that first kill. Time is dwindling a bit, that Tour de Force holding the angle in long, not going to be able to capitalize, get the first. And now it's time for the Spike to get stuck with the Brimstone covering it. Might get stuck the entire way, just barely able to shut that down, and Carr finally on that angle with the Tour de Force. Going to put a bow on that round. Infinity finally able to take one down, doing something they haven't before. They took that hookah control fast. Nice site exec off of it as well. And crucially, from what we had seen from them on some of the hits that went wrong, they really did explode into the site together. They were not leisurely walking in as we've seen on some of the earlier B hits.
And I think that's really what we were hoping for to see out of this squad, because thus far there's been so many of those contact plays where you're just pushing it a little bit too far before you commit to that execute that have been punished time after time. It's also good to see Carr getting on the board, picking into this chamber. You really have to find effect on these extremities, holding things down with that operator, with that trip, to be able to get value out of the agent. And I didn't feel like we had seen that too much until that last round. You see the setup right now. This 4-1 is basically permitted. I guess that 3-2 instead permitted because of the chamber, putting so much emphasis on holding down these extremities. But the Sage is kind of a counter to that, not allowing the walk-ups, not allowing that op to be as effective holding down these angles.
Let's see what Carr attempts to do from here as the round is really grinded to a halt. Be long control, held by the attackers. Shower, controlled by the defenders. So an equal exchange of map acquired from both of these sides, and with long control it only makes sense that the attacking side is going to gather up for a B hit yet again. It's going to be Corn and Fruit Cup to hold this attacking side at bay in this 4-on-2 strike.
Satchel's in, Hesse over the top, and Sad Eel taking down one. The spam though is good, combined with Sad Eel to take down the second anchor of this site. Rotates few and far between here for Figure8. Only 3 players to try and work back in. See the slow orb lineup coming in. A little too late. Be able to combine with anything to provide any effect on this work in just yet. Hesse, close angle. Easy out the first one. Actually double up, but it's only one falling down as Sad Eel finding a bit more. 3 in the round already, and Violet trapped out behind a wall of smoke in the elbow. And this setup is strong. 3 in a crossfire, an op trained on her angle. Should not be an opportunity, a chance in hell to get back into this round. It looks like Infinity might just be back. They turned things around at just the right time. And Wyatt, you mentioned last time, something like 29 kills for Sad Eel on the Brimstone on Bind. She's back.
This just, evidently, this is Sadiel's map. 10-4 right now. 6 in just a few rounds or so. On the opposite side, to be fair, this is the Brimstone battle. Queasy is 11-5 as well. The Brims are stepping it the hell up right now on Bind. I mean, listen, if there was any map to go crazy on Brim, this is the Brim map, to be fair. But at this point, Infinity, they've been able to start stringing together these gun rounds. Finally get a lead into this game, the first one since pulling those first 2 off the pistol. Again, pretty early ult from Sadiel to clear out lamps. And in the meantime, Corn kind of just baited into walking all the way down long, maybe feeling like that ult was a signal for a faster A hit. It certainly seems like it could have been, right? And now the attacking side in this 5-on-4, they could opt to slow things down, but it looks like they're gathered up for another big B hit. It's what's been working, and they are going to go for that exec. Flash through, Hezi deep in with the satchel, piloted swiftly to get that first kill. Oh no, the spray goes completely awry, and Zev holding down Mouse with the stinger is going to win out that battle. My god, almost wins a second. I thought they nerfed that thing a long time ago, but evidently not. Queasy and Fruit Cup, the last 2 remaining, and with so much time on the clock, Infinity more than happy to rotate off. Lila has stayed here, though, biding her time. Now just a one-on-one, gonna get dealt with by Queasy 1v2, not impossible, certainly very difficult.
I know that Queasy was back towards that B side, but she could have rotated from either direction. What's the decision, though? The big wrap all the way back through showers? She's taking a lot of time. If you want to walk from this far back, surely the round just becomes unwinnable. That spike, not a lot of time to work with. No information on either of these remaining players. And still Queasy just taking her sweet time. At some point, she's probably just going to be forced to start running now. If she doesn't spot anyone in showers, that timer ticking away will start to put a little bit of pain in the back of her head. She's found an opportunity on the car, but she just gets 180'd on.
No.
Tragedy.
It seems these strangers want me dead.
You can't lose that.
They're not so
Oh, you just hate to see that. We've all been there. I know that pain all too well. I know that pain all too well. That is very unfortunate.
Not
Anyhow,
the no-scope. That's gross.
that is,
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. You know, I don't particularly like that either.
You know who does like that?
Wait, who does like that?
Car, probably.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. Well, yes, sure. I mean,
She's probably going to like post that on Twitter and be like, check out this quick scope. Or no scope.
This is why Riot pays me $40,000 a day, that level of analysis. That's
true.
why 40K is the day rate. Only Mimi would notice that.
Completely true. My analytical abilities beyond belief. The time? 1:11 on the clock. The position of these players towards B, many of them. That leads me to believe that Infinity probably going to hit this site because, hey, their B hit's pretty good thus far in this map. Let's see if that trend continues because there is a fast triple flank already working its way on through, but not really fast enough to contest the exec itself. Instead, Infinity, feeling the pressure, want to make a play before the spike is even planted. The combination of the molly, the flash, and the swing is all perfect. The cake gets put to Tessie in control. There's a Viper Spit down in this post, but the flank no more. Instead, Figure8 fully rotating back through spawn to try and make this happen in the 5v4, but there's not any more to work with. Corn has fallen in the elbow, and now it's really just scraps to work with on this retake. 3 players to try and fight their way forward, to work their way through this smog and infiltrate that Viper's pit. Nice satchel. Onto Lila. Nothing more off of that one. They're just going to have to run away. Save these weapons into the next round, and Lila doesn't want to allow that to happen. Swing through her own smoke. The slow orb will stop her from getting any kills off of that one, and Sadiel will make her own go of things. Swing around the corner, 5 bullets, but no chance to deny these weapons. 3 alive on each side, but another round to the attack.
Last round before
Round where I feel like we're seeing Figure8 start to lose that confidence and that speedy decision-making, the trust they had in each other to just go for some of these plays that we saw on Haven. On that rotation that they were pulling back into B as the site exec was going on, you saw that group of 3 players that were near A short. They were considering, wait, do we run all the way down through A market and flank through hookah? do we want a TP? And then when they went back towards the TP, they popped the Brim ult at an awkward time in hookah, but none of them went through the TP, and then they all went spawn. It seems like that confidence and quick decision-making, the pace that they had on Haven, it's starting to waver.
Out of charges.
It really is such a turnaround from that second map. Only 4 rounds that they garnered there on the side of Infinity, but now up 7-4
There.
thus far on this first half. They've always been the team to win in this matchup. 2-0 the score in the history of the matches between these squads. They've got another corn being droned out inside of the pit. It's actually that showstopper to go ahead instead. They're not connecting anything off of it, so B, the new destination for Infinity.
Figure8 are not necessarily believing that. For a second, Fruit Cup, the rotation was being drawn. She was running back through spawn towards A, but has given up on that endeavor and has gone firmly back into the B site to create this crossfire setup, elbow to pocket with Queasy Elm, the Brimstone. Now some noise being made towards long as the orb is being gathered. Ray's all pop. They know this B hit is coming through. Can Hezi get shut down? Can Hezi find anything? Is the question as well. Trades start happening 1-for-1. Queasy Elm, perfect timing. Swinging out of that straight through elbow. Wonderfully done from the side anchors playing off of each other.
1v2 for Car, 10 seconds left. She has to make a run of things, but the indecision might have just gotten the better of her. I don't think there's even time to win at this point. 6 seconds on the clock. We need both kills in a flash. But it's over just this fast. Violet for the final frag, and 5-7 where the half lies. Really anyone's game here, but Infinity definitely showing some resurgence from that second game.
Absolutely. Infinity winning the initial pistol round, so if you factor that out, both teams 5-5 on rounds aside from that, which are pretty much all, I mean, a whole lot of buy rounds. So these teams dead even here on Bind, and it's such a tough task placed at the hands of Figure8. They have to win Haven and Bind back-to-back. The 2 maps that they lost to Infinity, the last time these teams played each other, just the other day. It's all about what they've been able to do in that downtime, how they've been able to prepare, adjust. We saw them do that to spectacular fashion on Haven, and right now Bind is just dead close.
Fight down long instead. Just a pop through the teleporter. 2 players hopping on in for Infinity. A really interesting idea in the pistol round, but it does leave this B site quite weak. Hookah is still an issue. And there's a couple players chilling out in there right now. It's a nice spot for a hangout if you're Sadiel, if you're Car. But it is this spike being planted into the B site right away. Car trying to find the right opportunity to make this pinch happen, to fight in with those players from the spawn side. But Figure8 want to make a move of their own. They're encroaching towards spawn. They're waiting for an opportunity, and Korn has spotted them from behind, and Car, she does it again. Eyes in the back of her head, it would seem. Twice in a row that's happened now. But Violet, it's now focus on her towards the back lines. These players have to be contended with Korn down. You're running out of time. You're running out of utility options. It's death by attrition here, as Fruit Cup is the only one standing, and there's just not enough bullets in the Classic to make it work.
Car really does have a sixth sense for these situations. Prime position for Korn to crack the round open on that retake, make it happen. The pressure from that flank would have been very significant. It would have really put that team in a Figure8 or Infinity. Sorry,
would have like tied him up in a button or something.
Tied him up in a bind there on the B site, but Car just the perfect timing to turn around. That is tragic. Both pistol rounds now claimed for the Infinity side here on Bind.
They're on good pace with them. No investment here out of Figure8 on their second round now on this attacking side. Really has just been some tragic occurrences to lose out here. 2 rounds where Car swings around to get something. Hey, maybe a little revenge there for Zev. Gets 1 kill, but that gun should be recovered. Hesi has to make a run for things with the Raisinade, and look where Korn has gotten. Walking up off the Viper wall. It's a nice little lurk position to maybe get something done here for Figure8.
As he's trying to regain some information, some control of this scary situation, all this pressure being felt by the players on the site. Being trapped between the Viper and the Sage. They certainly know the Viper's there. They don't necessarily know a second player worked up off that wall either. Now it's Lila who's made this walk all the way down the market as well. Perfect timing on that flank. Well aware that Korn's trapped in lamps too. The rest of the players that were making that assault through showers, they've backed off. They're trying to deal with Lila. They're running and gunning, and it's going to work out. Fruit Cup just spraying away with that Bulldog, claiming the kill. Finally, Korn dealt with. Now it's the mad dash towards the B site, but they're not going to win this foot
30
race.
seconds left.
Ashley already getting her way into that pocket. Do they even expect a player to be here this fast? Absolutely not. Gets the first. Sends out the fake flash. Not exactly going to work out, but the trades should be coming through. No problem at all. Dusting off that effort on the B site from the attackers.
9-5, they're working on a win here on the side of Infinity, and they are on good course thus far. Sadiel, again, Vine seems to be her map. She's proving effective here, and this round got really weird, but Figure8, I think the biggest hole there being exploited was the lack of anyone watching the flank. Lila being able to get all the way through and figuring out the mystery. The nice little clue there off of her flank. Infinity, though, did lose a lot of members there, so the money is rough here. Couple pistols coming out of Bucky, of course. Gotta have a Bucky. But nothing more really invested into this round. This should be the chance for Figure8 to turn things around.
Very necessary. We're seeing some of the greatest Bucky gameplay of 2023. We gotta keep it going at this point. Fast shower control taken here from the attacking side. A scrappy buy to deal with. The smokes are
Nice
down.
nade.
The grenade is very awkward. Very, very awkward indeed, but not gonna trip them up all too much. They're just going to work their way forward. Does Zev want to push through this with a Sky Flash, perhaps? Doesn't seem to be the case. They're just going to play passively off this smoke. Try and get the plant down, but they're actually not able to, and the smokes are fading, so a bit of a dangerous situation being created here.
Zev,
Down
it's a
A.
kill towards Heaven there. The Bucky, though, perfect place, right time, right weapon. Couldn't have it any other way if you're Lila. And another perfect timing for Sadiel, a smooth criminal swinging through the smoke. Maybe not quite as smooth. She whiffs a shot. Bit of revenge for the she's turned around on. So now this is a very awkward situation. Queasy Elm, still towards short, has to deal with Car. And the Siege on the other side has to deal with Sadiel in Heaven. But both of these tasks may soon be accomplished. Or just being a nuisance, excuse me, is Lila really the player to have to try and win this one out, but she's already down, and Car, nothing to work with here but a classic. She wants to go get a gun in showers and might be able to do so.
Spike planted.
Slowly just creeping her way up through shower. Both of those Figure8 players rotating around. They want to get up to Heaven. Spike planted for them. Wall down as well. Car with 1,000,001 angles to clear on this slow retake. Trying not to give her position away in too obvious a manner, but that's going to allow the clock to tick down potentially way too far. Figure8 at this point would have to some kind of tragic error with these swings. Gets the first. Time absolutely dwindling though, and Violet's going to be able to clean things up with relative ease. Excellent round from Violet. Queasy in tow. Able to drag things back from a scary situation. They missed the timing on the site exec. Those burn smokes faded. Caused an awkward situation. Lovely recovery though.
Still, though, that was a round that never should have been that close, right? That was a Bucky coming in, getting a kill for Lila. That was Sadiel going through a smoke and getting kills with the Bulldog of all things. So, not the best of rounds, but it is one that Figure8 needed. And they have that check mark in their box. But this is now the tipping point for their economy. A good bit of money put into this one. This could be the chance for Infinity to run away with this game. They're a round away from double digits. They've changed their setup yet again. This time a 3-2 towards B with that chamber holding the line on long, trying to do a little bait setup for the Rays in the close corner.
A whole lot of pressure towards shower. The ult orbs in this round very significant, as will be if we get into a plant situation. If it goes down, if Zev plants perhaps, or really any of the players corn aside, Zev is going to get that first kill, and that's going to activate the Rays ultimate. The point that I was getting at, we were so close to multiple ults as he satcheling away, going to get away just barely 82 HP, swiftly through the skies, and with all that presence made Figure8 a minute on the clock. They're going to start rotating back. Violet now not fully spotted out, but position known by that Sky Flash rotating back. The A exec is on. Zev with that ultimate claim from the pick can get way deep into the site. There'll be nothing to find with the rocket, but the space is made, but no one's watching. Shower, no awareness that a player could have still been there, though they never took the control. Queasy finally with the trade. Or really close up with the judge. Pretty decent range for it. Swapping over to the Phantom now. Spots out the second player, Heaven, so they've got some decent information. Except for on Ashley. Violet not expecting that push down for market. This whole round, these Infinity players could essentially be goddamn anywhere. Ashley's so aware, picking up that rotation back from Queasy, who was last fighting in Shower. Core now into a 1-on-2 in a scrappy as hell round. Shot in the side from Hezi. My god, what is happening on this post plant?
That was a ridiculous round. We have players walking into spawn with a judge. We have Figure8 completely in control of the round. But again, these flanks have been so potent. A player works around, they get pinched into the site, and then it's players giving away 1v1s, making little mistakes. It does seem like Figure8 is kind of slipping back into what we saw on that map number 1, where they're making these mistakes, where players are swinging low. This really isn't anymore. The team that we saw in Leaving with perfectly coordinated 1-2-3 swings working together in conjunction, they're leaving gaps and they are being exploited.
Hopefully this timeout will just kind of allow them a second to take a deep breath and get their heads into the game, because individually it really is all over the place. They're, as you said, they're not playing together in the way that we saw on Haven. And I think a lot of that is, you know, maybe perhaps the situation, the pressure getting to them. The loser of this game is going to go home. Both of these teams made changes in the offseason from Stage 2 coming into Stage 3. Try and push themselves further than they have in GC in the past. And the team that goes out here is going to have, tragically, a worse result than they did in Stage 2. There's a lot on the line for both of these teams. And I think this timeout is a good time, really, for Figure8 to just slow things down and kind of catch their breath, because despite being down 10-6, keep in mind, Infinity X, they did win both of the pistol rounds. It's not like on the gun rounds they're running away with this thing. Figure8 could certainly come back into this. They're going to have to save this one, but they're going to look towards the next, unless these sheriffs could make some magic happen.
Flash down long reveals that this will be players from the side of Figure8 making their way up towards this B site. Ollie's to delay for a bit longer and rotates to come on in with just a sheriff, though. I just want to make this one a fast commit, see what you can make of things. They'll hesitate for a moment, though. Wait for these brim smokes, the Viper wall, to dissipate out before making their move. It's actually this rotation back for the attack.
Figure8 just slowing things down, leaving their Sage Violet over there in B long to keep control, as the rest of the team is going to work through Hookah. Flash not going to get any pings. They're going to have 2 players to deal with, and actually that rotating breach going to be a third. iPad out, ready to drop the tactical nuke in Hookah, perhaps, if they're trying to spill out there. And there it is. Receive it actually ends up toasting those players. Oh my god! It's going to claim 3. They were all stuck in the microwave, door shut on them. Corn left alone with a classic and one of the saddest situations I've seen in all my time.
Sadio is
and getting naded. Oh god.
Just putting him in the grill. These poor players from Figure8. Not a chance in the world at this round at any point in time. So that's round 11. 2 away from the series for Infinity.
You said it earlier. Sadio last time on Bind dropped 29 on Figure8. And right now, not quite at 29. The game hasn't been going long enough for that just yet, but trying to get there. Going crazy yet again. This is just the Sadio map. 21 and 9.
Ridiculous.
Just
on Brimstone, by the
from
way.
The Brim. I know.
Simply the Brim expert, it would seem. But we're going to have to see a step up from someone else on the other side. Figure8, lots of ultimates to work with here. Brimall, Sage revived, but their opponent pushing up the pace. Hesse again with that swift play, down long, and it's again their own Viper wall kind of working against them, isolating players off, and it's a free opener for the defense of Infinity.
Dog is going to get that full re-clear on Shower. That's a lot of information acquired to the defensive side. it's Figure8. They were waiting for the juice on that wall to come back up to try and maybe work off that just a little bit and get this res off as well, which they're going to be able to do. Opposite side of the map, you could see Korn was prodding towards Hookah, getting a bit of information. These Seekers are going to gain a lot of information. They are all headed towards short, and they are all getting broken there. 4 players stacked up here for Infinity, and the nade catches Queasy. That is a tragedy and could be the nail in the coffin on this game, sending things at the very least to OT. Violet evens things up, but how the hell do you get off a good site exec on Bind without a breach? No smokes.
It's going to be so hard without that Brimstone in the mix. And, I mean, that push, very misguided from Ashley. Not sure why she's going aggressive when you already have a player advantage, but we'll even out to 4 versus 4. Carr holding things down on the B side. Does have a teleport to get out of dodge, and she gets her kill and gets away to boot. Sadiel, another glowing Vandal in her hands, looking to keep up her reign of terror on this Brimstone. Korn, though, able to trade things back. A plant coming in and a Sage Wall to block off the players towards Elbow. They'll have to break that one. Just a moment. Good advantage, but it's slim, and if Hesse falls here, things could start to fall apart for this defensive side. Last mauling is used to keep the spawn players locked away.
Out of charges.
Korn has a lot of angles to worry about. She has
Caution
support
here.
from the spawn side. From Octagon is, but is alone really in the tube for the moment. Hesse finds a 3rd in the round. The nade will cloud the vision, but there's only 11 health, and the rocket is incoming. Violet, a kill, but the rocket is unavoidable. Hesse for a 4K, and it's match and series point for Infinity X.
Hesse, the new recruit for Infinity X, the new player they picked up in the off-season to make a deeper run in this tournament, stepping up when they need the most. Fantastic throughout this series. The Rays gameplay has just been expert level on Lotus, here again on Bind, a 4K on a crucial round. OT secured, and it looks like they're heading to securing this match as well, securing themselves a spot in that next round of bracket play.
Excellent work out of Hesse here. She just looks so comfortable on that raise and has stepped up in all of these critical moments. But for Figure8, this is where they have to start the recovery. 12-6. It's a long road to making it back in, but it starts with an orbital strike and a hit into the A site. It's fully conceded though, at the defensive side, instead just holding on to space and Showers, and Zev not ready for it. Hesse continuing her terror from the round previous. Someone has to make a move. Someone has to make a play to even out the odds, because right now, it's looking grim for this attacking side. Lila, a Viper's Pit of her own, will go forward to take space in the U-Haul. And the Molly's just whittling away at the health as Queasy Elm goes down. It might just be the end of this one. From short comes the flank. It's Ashley not able to take down Fruit Cup. She finds a double off the Spectre. And this pit is still up to K, working its way through onto the players of Infinity. And the Molly will finish the job onto Lila. The judge excellent in these situations. And it's all Korn to keep her team in it.
Fantastic play around their own Viper's Pit, just running around with the judge. Molly in the perfect spot as well. Dangerous scenario for Figure8. It looked like the game was done. Their run was over. Not the case just yet. They're hanging on to it for just a bit more. Same scenario we saw here on Lotus, the very first map. Infinity were on match point. They were on 12. Figure8. They were starting to string some string together, some attack rounds late in the half. Made the comeback look believable. They'll actually have to make the comeback a reality here, or they're going home.
Slower start to this round for Figure8. It's contact on the other side as well. Infinity just walking their way down B. And Elm, is the timing right? It is. Finds Lila. What more can be discovered? It's so clean. Out of Violet, a double on the Guardian car. Next one up. She'll trade things back, but that's a lot of knowledge as the position of these remaining 2 players. It's really the best position we've seen Figure8 in a damn long time. 4v1, spike planted. They're still in this.
Carr left alone, Figure8. Making the believers believe again. They're giving the believers just a little bit of hope that this time the comeback may just come to fruition. This round certainly locked up, and from here they're going to need just 4 more to bring things to OT. I say just 4 more. That's an extremely tough task as Korn locks this one up for the Figure8 side. They're going to have the res heading into the next round, which could be quite significant. Fruit Cup's ultimate pretty close as well, so perhaps going to opt to fight over some of these orbs, try and get close to the Seekers. Late in the game like this, having a big round where you can really pop off with the ults could be the key to bringing you over the line. Redeeming your free Valorant round win coupon card where you stock up all your ultimates.
I need to blow something up.
But they're still a ways away from that one. 4 more to go. And that's only to get it into overtime. There's another journey after that one, but they have to focus on this first road. Re-clear into showers from the defensive side. Park spotted on the jump peak, the dog coming through, but it's not the TP crunch. Instead, just getting information on the side of the map and conceding back just a bit. Roomba will go through for Zev, but I don't think they have enough util available to really fight through this one. It's well held by the defense. Figure8 won't have to reassess. They will go. The dog and another piece committed, but still that chamber holding strong.
The defensive side, they are, I mean, even just more specifically, Carr able to draw out so much utility. The dog is gone, the boombot is gone, the nade is gone, no flashes on Fruit Cup, and we're heading into this mid-round with the attackers having no map control. This is a great opening right here for Infinity.
Molly is actually going to segment Korn off from her teammates. She's walked her way up alone into this close corner, into U-Haul. And now the position of these players is known. With that contact play finding success, the lack of utility you were talking about may not affect them too much at the end. Wall up. Can they get the plant off of that one? Fruit Cup is holding things down. Tess is just on the other side. The plant will be stuck. Rotate coming in slowly from this final player. It's Lila, the Viper. Try and make this retake happen.
Infinity players gathering up, ready to try and swing out here. I wonder if Sadil might even throw down this Stimmy, try and get the pace going. Kara's going to win out that first duel. Zev with a quick trade back. Time has dwindled a bit. They did delay a pretty significant amount. Slow is going to come down onto the spike now. Swinging through lamps is Korn. Waiting for this wall to go down. Finally tapped. Very late, but the smoke is on the spike. The molly comes in. Did it land in the proper spot? It did. It's going to stop the plant. Korn is going to live as well. Try and get that final tap kill. Not going to happen. Won't even matter. Time expires. The spike is going to go off with a second on the clock. Figure8 are still in this thing. A nice little adaptation hitting the site off that wall with a lack of utility.
Another round that looked like the game was over. It looked like it was all going to be tied up. But this time, that slow contact play is so effective. Using the Sage to great success in getting that plant through. It's actually going to force a timeout here from Infinity. There is a real chance that this game slips away from them. We gotta check in on the believers, because this is really the moment where the comeback could be real.
I mean, okay, on Lotus, when it was at 9-12, same scenario, Figure8 trying to come back on attack. I want to say we were at 67% on the believer meter for the Figure8 comeback.
I believe so.
We're approaching the like 70 something we were at when they got to 10 rounds. We're getting pretty close. Infinity taking this timeout now. Things have started to slip a little bit out of their grasp.
And I'm sure Figure8 is remembering that map number 1. Same scenario here. On the trail to a comeback. 10 rounds on the board. And it slips away from you. You're 1 round away from that same barrier. This time it's up against an Antico. Surely this should be the round that is easy, that's done up. It's going to be in your favor no matter what. And they have a lot of ultimates just around the corner. The Brimalt 3 off. Just 1 away from the showstopper as well. They have a lot of tools to try and push this to OT.
It's going to be a fast play here towards B-Long. Flash going to come out, getting that information on Fountain. Pretty standard, and they're going for a really quick play through the TP. Moving on to the orb. Korn is hearing all of that, and Carr with a tour de force, able to get the first. Get that man advantage. Seekers are going to come through now. Get some information on B. They're going pretty deep. They know about this hookah player. They've drawn all of these rotates here, and in the meanwhile, on the screen is Korn, who's just been able to walk up shower and re-clear all that space.
She's all the way into the A side at this point. There's a sentry on watch. It's Lala, but she only has a Bucky. She's dead too. Rotates will come swiftly through the teleporter. No one from Figure8 will be here in time to deny the spike.
Excellent job from Korn. Gaining all of this space, just playing off the sound cues from those early rotators that came through the teleporter. Now the only thing that Figure8 really have to worry about, potentially, is this Brimstone coming through Market. The rest of these players, weak weaponry, trying to pool out of Heaven and Spawn side. The dog re-clears all the way through Lamps, and Korn not expecting Sad Eel to be on that flank through Market whatsoever. And now we're in a tough position. The spike is planted for Showers, 2 players there. Queasy, Vandal in hand, might find the timing on Sad Eel. Hears the drop down, has the Molly in hand. The Molly can be pivotal at the right time. The rocket's going to come out from the Zev. Players trying to spill into Shower, take that fight. The weaker weaponry not suffice in a situation like this. Zev with the satchel for good measure to lock up the 10th round.
So history repeats itself. 12-10, a chance for the comeback. 4 rounds in a row. Now 1 for the side of Figure8. If they can take just 2 more, they'll push us to overtime. There's a lot of talk about Sad Eel, about the step up from her on this Brim, but it's really been the other side. Supportive players stepping up as well. Queasy having a great second half. Violet being consistent even all the way back into that first. Have been really the players to help get this one over the line. But that line is still a few away. This round, fast towards being long. Brimstone going up. This might be a bit of a change of pace from Figure8. Are they going to go straight into this B site? There's a chance at it. Sky Flash is available. A Roomba to clear close into Octagon. But for the moment, patient. Just getting out the cycle from the Viper. Maybe getting another pit on someone's ultimate.
Getting a little bit closer to that Brimstone ult. This post-plant utility from Queasy has been pivotal in winning a few of these rounds. As is ever the case with the Brimstone Unbind, the Molly is just so powerful when denying people trying to defuse the spike. The dog re-clear is going to get a little bit of information. Korn is just kind of playing around with the wall towards A, but that position in Hookah from Lamp, from Hezi over on A is allowing these 3 players to say here on B, the flash through, the aggressive play from Ashley, going to be able to claim 2. Can they trade this out in time? Violet able to do so. Gonna take down both and get the res. Crucial, had been holding on to that for a little bit. Lila could slow things down here. Dropping the Molly. Actually, the Sage Wall there is going to deny them from going into B themselves. Fast play now into A. And Sad Eel has the Molly. They've got the nade to deny them running through. Time is being wasted right now. It's going to be so tough for them to try and actually pull out of the smoke. They have 1 flash to play out. How the hell does Fruitcup get that kill? Jumping through the smoke.
It's unbelievable.
Immediately tapping on the landing. That is mental.
But there still is a round to play out. Sad Eel next up around the corner, spots 1. There's the player in the close corner as well. Is Queasy Elm spotted the gun barrel, but Tracer in the ultimate available. Orbital strike ripped into the Showers in the swing there in time, but the shot's not connecting. Fruit Cup 1 HP wins it out. Keeps Figure8 alive from jumping through the air, getting a headshot to saving her team at 1 HP. The member that has been there from the beginning, from before the rebuild of the squad, again keeps them in it quiet.
Great choice from Violet to res Fruit Cup, by the way. Very tactical res. Had a couple options, chose Fruit Cup. Right choice.
Good choice.
Fruit Cup was outrageous on map 2 on the breach, just popping off. Had been a little quiet so far on Bind, and that is the most pivotal play possible. They are on OT point, 12-11, a closer comeback than on Lotus. They are within touching distance of a really crazy run back right now.
Slower start to this round. What could be the final of the match? It's either Infinity closing out, winning a 3rd match in a row versus Figure8, or it's Figure8 making it OT a chance to change the tide, to make it deeper in. Top 32 on the line here, or elimination early in your Game Changers run. Maybe a flash towards short. Zev ready to go out off of it. Nade on the other side. Does the commitment come here? Is Sad Eel ready for it? The tripwire broken. Sad Eel has to run away. So A site completely in control of this attacking side. And with that Sage Wall up, the plant's coming in.
I like this decision from Figure8. They're just playing for the plant right now because Queasy Elm, if you look at the utility, Molly in hand, ultimate as well. They know if they get the spike down and keep Queasy alive, just off the back of that, they have an excellent chance of winning this round. That duel in the back with Carr is going to be massive. Hezi coming in with the rocket right now. Can they find a target? Queasy Elm won that duel. Hezi gets one. Things are getting traded out, but that's fine. Even in a 2-on-3. 2 mollies for Corn as well. This should be extremely winnable. The flash through is going to catch Corn. That flash doesn't actually get the spot onto Queasy.
But the Molly is still
Ultimate
alive.
is going to come in.
She has time to try and win this one. Out a second kill.
Oh my
Queasy
God.
Elm, does she have the lineup in time? Sadiel is holding on to this one. She
There's
has
no
to
way there's
spam.
enough time.
And there's no way she can get her off in time. Sadiel holds the stick. And from an inch away, it's Infinity X again. Third time is the charm. They're into the top 32. They've tied their best performance here in Game Changers, and they've eliminated Figure8.
Such a great attempt from Figure8. Such a tragic ending. They were so close. Once again, just the matches between these two teams always coming down to the wire. OT games, 13-11s, 13-10s. Such a great effort from them. Some fantastic individual play as well throughout the entire thing. Violet was so good, Fruit Cup as well, but man, that is rough. A lot of credit to them, and on the opposite side, Infinity, just excellent performance, and it was very fun to watch Hezi as well, the new addition to that team, the addition that might be able to push them over the line and break through where they finished last time in the top 32.
A really impressive game there from Infinity X to again take home the win. And Sierra, we got to bring you back in because that one was so exciting, honestly. We expected great things knowing the last match between these two, and it delivers again here, down to the wire on Bind.
Right down to the wire. I mean, the Brim, I feel like we've all seen that moment where the Brim Molly just gets there just that second too late, and for it to all come down to that in the end with the 13-11 for the rematch going and Way Infinity yet again was absolutely insane. So I'm excited to see, because that was now them moving on in the closed qualifiers into the next stage of competition. So congratulations to them, Wyatt, because honestly, they definitely earned it here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how on Bind and on the first map, Lotus, I really love their attack side gameplay. Lotus especially, it was just fantastic. Some great display of calling on those attack sides, which I was really impressed by.
Yeah, Hesi for me as well as an individual, I think is really the player I'm writing home about. On the Rays especially, she was just so good. The satchel movement was on point. Really loved the way that she's placing the nade to work with her team. And on top of that, just the individual mechanics, so impressive in this one. Hitting a lot of those opening kills that proved critical for Infinity to close this one.
Actually, too, when it was the slimmest of margins there at the end, because there was a point where Figure8, they were stringing rounds together again. So being able to put an end to that just in time was so well done. I do want to be giving props to Figure8 for making this so close in the series too, considering the rematches can be a little bit difficult all the way around, but definitely they were able to pick it up to bring it to that point where it was honestly so close. And I want to be giving props over on Infinity's end, because Sadiel Amimi definitely is not someone we've talked the most about, but has been really consistently performing here.
Don't take Sadiel to Brimstone Unbind. Simple fact. 2 games in a row. She goes crazy on that agent. That is what part of the reason that this team was able to take home the win for Infinity. They have really good consistency from even their more supportive players. On the first map, it was Ashley's supportive utility. Here on map 3, it was Sadiel really stepping up with some of those late round clutches and just consistent fragging as an anchor. And on, I think, the first map as well, it was Lila's lurks that were so impactful, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. The Sadiel Brimstone stats, out of control. Like at 2 KD on Brimstone, like over a 1 kill per round. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good Brim gameplay.
I agree.
Pretty good.
That's my analysis.
Getting paid the big bucks for that one. Well, I'm definitely glad that we'll be able to have a chance to sit down and talk to Sadiel after that performance. So we're going to be taking a quick break. So sit back, enjoy our Prime Gaming post-match highlights. We'll be right back.
Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Flawless. Ended. remaining. One enemy remaining.
Taken out.
Commendable.
Grounded.
One down.
One enemy remaining.
Sky's out.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Defender.
After such a close series, definitely excited to have an opportunity to sit down with Sadiel of Infinity for a Verizon post-match interview. Congratulations on the series win here. That was intense at the end there. I'm not gonna lie. That came right down to the wire. Those last moments of bind there, as there seemed to be that little bit of a creep back from Figure8. Were there any high nerves, any high tensions, or do you know that you were gonna clutch it out?
Oh, for sure. Every time our coach paused, I had to stand up and really like get the sweat off. It was really hard. They're really worthy opponents for sure. It was a hard game, and I'm sure all of us were stressed, us and even them, but we had to keep our cool, so.
Especially too, this being the rematch, we were definitely excited to see how things were changing up, and we got to see a really big change in that second map. Infinity feeling confident enough to pick it up after winning it the first time around, but Figure8 really kind of showed you what they were about in that one. So how did that differ from the first match that you guys got to play on that map?
Lotus, we weren't expecting to win at all, and it was funny that we won. Haven, we were expecting to win, and we didn't win at all, and I think it's just really ironic. It was really tough games and unexpected completely. I think they were great games though, really close, and I'm sure you guys had fun watching it.
100%. So with the expectations of which you're gonna win and why not, did they switch anything up from the day before in like the play style? Did you guys get to switch anything up really, or was it just out aiming in the pivotal moments?
Our main goal was to keep our current style. We didn't want to switch things up or make things uncomfortable for us. I'm not sure if they did switch anything up, but the games are much harder this time than it was before.
Well, you managed to get the victory here, and that means you're on to the double elim closed qual stage. How are you feeling having been able to get to this point of the competition?
I'm excited and relieved. I know we want to make it further, but I'm already proud of us, but hopefully we can have a good series, even better than we have right now.
Well, there'll definitely be people out there rooting for you guys, so congratulations making it there. Before I let you go and at least rest a little bit before your next game, do you have any final words for those watching or any shoutouts?
Any shoutouts? Shout out to my coach Nitsu. He really likes Wyatt, and he's also single. Thank you.
Perfect shout out, perfect shout out. Congratulations yet again. Best of luck going on forward. As for us, we're still going to be having another match on the day, of course, as we got to get to that double elim portion of the bracket ourselves. So we're going to be taking a short break, but stay tuned.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro.
Sean, do you mean this one, the one with titanium? Switch to Verizon. You can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.